next with a homer and 13 RBIs. 0 for 3 as a pinch hitter. Well hit. This ball game is over. And it may be out of here on Grand Slam.
To have the time of your life because the Mets are really knocking the ball.
Hamlin's coming around to score. Flaherty to second to throw. And home. He's out at home. The throw to third. Out at third. The Mets win it 6-5. What a double play. Just your routine double play. Ready to bust loose in more ways than 13 years of waiting. Ground ball to second. Bagman to Hernandez. The unbelievable season is not over, but the championship is here in New York. The inevitable has finally become a reality. And the adoring fans have swept on the field. On September 17th, the New York Mets become champions of the National League's Eastern Division for 1986.
Come on and meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. Step right up and meet the Mets. Bring your team, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life because the Mets behind the man gets the ball. Knocking the ball down, going to war. The inside, everybody comes down to meet the MVP Mets of New York town, of New York town.
Up and down year for the Mets. They started out very strong, 114 days in first place. They finished poorly. They'll finish under 500 and in third place.
Everything was going smoothly until July 7th. That was the day that Jacob deGrom made his last pitch.
It never ends with the Mets.
It really doesn't, man.
The last time we did a show together, the Mets were in first place. Right. And now they're buried. And now they're dead. It's just the same. Oh, Mets. Well, this franchise just can't help itself, can it?
They're out of the playoff race because of their own incompetence. And I want to make something clear. As bad as Luis was last night managing this game, there are other people that deserve blame.
And we are following breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ. Luis Rojas out as the manager of the New York Mets. The club not picking up his option for 2022. The Mets hired Rojas back in 2020 after firing Carlos Beltran before he could manage a single game because of his role in the Astros cheating scandal. Now, Rojas coached for 2 seasons there, finishing under 500 both seasons. The Mets entered 21 with very high expectations.
More breaking news out of MLB, and teams are getting busy this offseason. Reports of Noah Syndergaard and the Los Angeles Angels have agreed to
Syndergaard sign with the Angels?
Yeah, he did. Thor is gone.
This is a guy who I thought would be in town forever. This is one of those guys you never picture leaving. Like how?
Breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ, and Marcus Stroman breaking the news himself, announcing a deal to the Chicago Cubs. Terms of the deal have not been announced, but Marcus Stroman, who spent the last 2 seasons with the New York Mets, he pitched 10 wins last season for the New York Mets. He led the starting rotation, 10 wins, 158 strikeouts, and 179 innings pitched, 3.02 ERA for the Mets. They offered him a qualifying offer, but he decided to go elsewhere.
Do it. The first thing we did, we added a catcher. Now we've added a Gold Glove, All-Star caliber shortstop who makes a great impact in all facets of the game.
We're gonna have magic. On the field. I want to go out there, have fun, compete. We want to be highly competitive. We want to be successful. A player like Javi, I think, sends a message to the baseball world, to our fans, that the Tigers are here to compete.
Mark, it's just extreme disappointment right now out here at Citi Field because there will be no popping of bottles or celebration in the Mets clubhouse. It wasn't even close tonight. No one could have saw this coming, especially after last night's performance. One total hit the entire game. One hit by Pete Alonso in the 5th inning. And a large reason for that was because of Joe Musgrove, who is an assassin on the mound. But the big question mark is, was he using an illegal substance? He was checked by the umpires in the bottom of the 6th inning. They didn't find anything. He was able to go back into the game, but a lot of speculation has already started with all the shiny stuff that was on his air. It was constantly red and it seemed inflamed. But once again, the umpires didn't find anything. We're going to find out what that statement is very shortly from the umpires to see what that investigation was. But ultimately a huge disappointment. 101 wins and the season is over, Mark. We'll have much more on this Mets disappointment later on New York Sports Nation.
To be honest, it hurts. Really hurts. It's not just the losing. It's kind of the disbanding of the group, because every single guy in this clubhouse is really awesome, and it just sucks that it's not going to be the same group next year, because there's you have free agency, trade possibilities. That's just the nature of the industry. But it just it's tough, because I really care for everybody in the clubhouse. We have such a great group. It's obviously disappointing and frustrating that it ended this way, but these guys are fantastic, and it stinks.
And that does it for us. We'll see you February 25th, Port St. Lucie, Mets and Marlins. But before we get to them, I want you to take a look at everybody who has helped out with these broadcasts. Thanks for joining us. We love you all.
Day one of free agency, and the Mets wasting absolutely no time signing their all-star closer Edwin Diaz to a 5-year, $102 million deal. Yeah, it's a lot of money for the best closer in baseball, but if anybody deserves it, he does. And for the Mets, it really is a no-brainer of a decision, especially when you look at the way this bullpen needs to be essentially reconstructed from scratch heading into this offseason. And Edwin Diaz, in a lot of respects, was as critical to this Mets team's success as any single player. So yeah, again, a lot of money, but well-deserved to Edwin Diaz, and a no-brainer for the Mets. And I do think it's worth taking a step back in this moment to really appreciate what Edwin Diaz went through to get to this point. What an incredible Mets career arc it has been so far. Coming over the big trade and having that disastrous season in 2019, many players have been broken by that type of a year, their first season in New York. A lot of people, myself included, thought, you know what, maybe it's not going to work out here. Maybe this guy needs a change of scenery, but he went to work in the offseason, came back, had a nice 2020, a nice 2021, and then in 2022, one of the great seasons you're ever going to see. So Edwin Diaz, now a Met for the foreseeable future, a well-liked, a well-respected player in that clubhouse, and one of the most important pieces to what the Mets hope will be a championship contender for years to come.
Verlander has agreed to a 2-year, $86 million deal with the Mets, sources told ESPN's Jeff Passan on Monday. The deal also includes a vesting 3rd-year option, the source told ESPN.
Justin Verlander officially introduced to the New York Mets as he joins an absolutely stacked rotation. They welcomed he and his family to New York, and what a time it's going to be.
And I think, in the background, Steve is like, hey, we're going to do what's necessary to make this this organization a championship caliber ball club. So I had faith in that. You know, I took a leap of faith, and here we are a few weeks later, and I think that leap of faith has paid off. And obviously the surrounding cast, the players that this organization has brought in are nothing short of incredible, and I cannot wait to be part of something amazing and hopefully be a small piece of making that vision that Billy and Steve and Alex have for this organization, which is to be a championship caliber ball club and hopefully win it all.
So Quintana just stood out as a guy who is right in that category, but because he's a little older, because he was a one-year, $2 million deal guy last year, just wasn't really seen in that same class. So good job by his agent for getting him a multi-year deal, and good job for the Mets for not having to pay a guy to be your third or fourth starter $70 million. So it really was just a perfect deal for everybody. It came together fast.
The hot stove remains hot in the Big Apple with another big signing for the Mets. The club is in agreement with this man, Japanese right-hander Kodai Senga, for 5 years and $75 million. It includes a player opt-out after 3 years. Our CBS Sports MLB insider Jim Bowden has confirmed the news. The soon-to-be 30-year-old Senga was a star in Japan, making 3 All-Star teams, winning 5 Japanese Series championships, and he joins a loaded pitching staff with Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander.
JP, David Robertson is staying in the National League East, but he is going from the Philadelphia Phillies to the New York Mets to join.
He's a hired gun now.
And Scherzer.
But I love it. I like this pick, and I like the signing, JP.
Right at the bottom of the zone, a strikeout for David Robertson.
You know, the proof is in the end game, but you know, we've played a lot of emotional games here already, and anytime you play in New York and you play in front of our fans, there's a real engagement of it.
Well, gentlemen, when the shit hits the fan, some guys run and some guys stay.
Yeah, no doubt. I want to be a New York Met. This is people don't realize that I grew up in the Mets. So when I was 18, I haven't known anything different than the New York Mets. And I really turned into a man in the New York Mets organization. So there is sentimental value to it for me. You know, and obviously, like I said, I don't know anything different.
The Mets have agreed to a 12-year, $315 million deal with the All-Star free agent shortstop Carlos Correa. Now,
Correa, look, Mike, this guy can just flat out play. And the cool thing about him is I was actually part of that Astros team when they drafted him. And I remember when this happened, I'm like, oh, man, this guy was highly touted. Remember the MLB draft in 2012, first pick overall.
2 coming. Flicked out to left field. On comes McNeil toward the line. Diving, and he makes the catch.
Versatile defensively, McNeil.
Varsho lifts one out to left. McNeil giving ground on the warning track. Makes the catch right. Being back as opposed to in. That's driven toward right center away from Nimmo, and it's down for a base hit for Franco. Dale is in. Hernandez going to try to score. Relay by McNeil to the plate, and McCann has the ball. But the Mets execute a perfect relay to keep a second run off the board. Over comes McNeil near the sidewall, leaping to make the catch. Tagging at third is Edman. He'll come in to score. The throw goes to second, and he's out. Brandon gets the curve and lines it into center field. A base hit. In is Canna. Here's Jankowski. He scores, and the Mets have tied it. Brandon Nimmo with a 2-run single. The Mets have scored 6 times in the top of the ninth to tie this game at 7-7. Franco hits one on the ground. Lindor laying out to get it. Up and throwing right on target. Gorgeous play, Francisco Lindor, to get Franco 2 out.
Well, that is a big league play right there.
That's driven to center field. The other Cruz got turned around. Now looks up, and that ball is out of here. Francisco Lindor into the black, a 3-run homer, and 3 batters into the game. The Mets have a 3-0 lead. To right, coming hard, it's a catch. What a play by Starling Marte. 2-1. He gets one in the air to deep left field. Back toward the corner goes Thomas. Right back near the wall. It's out of here! Grand slam, Pete Alonso! A towering grand slam for Pete for his first home run. Alonso to score 4. And now Timmy Trumpet takes center stage as Edwin Diaz gets ready to come in looking for a save.
Now pitching for the Mets, number 39, Edwin Diaz.
Edwin Diaz puts on the finishing touches, striking out the side of the ninth inning, and the Mets celebrate their second ever no-hitter, started by Tyler McGill, finished by Edwin Diaz, as the Mets no-hit the Phillies.
Here's an amazing story I gotta tell about a squad from New York you know so well.
Yes, sir, the New York Mets are on the air in their first great season. Mets are the world champions.
This is history. We're talking about year 60. You with me?
Check him out. Siva has 19 strikeouts.
From the grounds to those rock and shake sounds. To the electricity of our city, where we all gets down.
It's out of here! And we're always fighting. It's the greatest feeling in the world.
No, not the 7 to Willits. Because that one makes stops. This one moves with that magic. Never in halftime. Always illmatic. Its momentum is momentous. It's never still. Always thrills. This train operates at 8 million horsepower, originating in Queens, flying through Brooklyn, Bronx, Staten, Strong Island, Manhattan, through the tri-state into the believers who make it happen. This train hits you like the beat video on Roosevelt Avenue, leaves you panting like a Szechuan on Main Street. Water, please. This train, not for the shook ones. We be the infamous, you heard of us. Survival of the fittest as we get ready for this one. How do you know it's coming? You can hear that horn. So cue the lights as we set to make history on these
blocks where we reminisce over this. It's forged from the miraculous. It's that fighting spirit and never ever being out of it. To that king of New York status, to the most memorable, to the unforgettable. Because here is where the work begins, continues, and never ends. This is Queens, USA, where the soul is born and bred. And we're coming ready to play. Let's go! Let's go, let's flow, Queens rep the borough. And now we turn the page as chapter takes center stage. Because here is where the amazing plays.
So let's go!
Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4,